For 30 years, Johnny Carson ruled late-night television like no one before or after. Every night, millions of people watched him sit behind that desk, that sly smile playing at the corners of his mouth, waiting to see what would happen next. Appearing on Carson's show could transform your career overnight. But what nobody knew, what Carson kept hidden behind that carefully crafted persona, was which guests actually made his heart sing, which performers made him genuinely smile. Not because the cameras were rolling, but because he was truly enjoying himself. For decades, this remained a mystery, but now, through archived footage and records Carson left behind, we can finally see the truth. The 10 guests Johnny Carson loved the most. Johnny Carson was born on October 23, 1925, in Corning, Iowa. From the earliest age, he was drawn to performance. At 12, he found a book on magic and ordered a magician's kit. He practiced card magic day and night, driving his family crazy. His mother fashioned him a cape. By age 14, he was performing as the Great Carson for $3 per show. After high school, Carson joined the Navy during World War II. He trained at Columbia University, eventually becoming an ensign aboard the USS Pennsylvania, decrypting top-secret messages. He was also a master amateur boxer with a 15-0 record. But his proudest Navy moment? He did a magic trick for James Forrestal, the Secretary of the Navy. That performance taught him he could entertain anyone after the war. Carson attended the University of Nebraska, majoring in speech and drama. He wrote his college thesis on comedy. He graduated in 1949 and began his career in Omaha. Red Skelton discovered his talent. Jack Benny invited him to his show. By the 1950s, Carson was hosting his own programs. In 1962, NBC convinced him to host The Tonight Show. That decision rewrote television history. But understanding Carson's taste in guests reveals something profound about his character. Consider the Wayne Newton incident of 1980. Carson was set to purchase the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, but withdrew at the last minute. Wayne Newton's consortium bought it instead. The press portrayed it as Carson losing the deal. So Carson started making jokes about Newton on The Tonight Show. Night after night, cutting remarks. Newton confronted him. "You're a mean-spirited human being," he said. It reveals that Carson's humor had limits. When his pride was wounded, he could strike back. He used his platform as a weapon. But this same man had a profound appreciation for genuine talent. Steve Martin was unpredictable. He played banjo. He made balloon animals. He combined wild energy with genuine artistry. Carson loved it. Martin appeared so frequently he became part of the show's identity. When Steve Martin appeared, audiences knew they were in for something special. David Brenner appeared over 150 times during the 1970s and 1980s, the most frequent guest during Carson's entire run. After his first appearance in January 1971, Brenner's career transformed overnight. He went from struggling to receiving constant offers. But here's what really matters. Carson trusted Brenner enough to have him guest host approximately 70 times. Comedians like Jerry Seinfeld credit Brenner as the godfather of hip observational comedy. Then there's Rodney Dangerfield. "I don't get no respect." Those 5 words became part of American comedy heritage. Dangerfield appeared over 30 times, and every appearance was pure magic. What made him special was his fearless self-deprecation. He made light of being overlooked and disrespected. Everyone understood that feeling. Carson's response is documented in videos. He's not just laughing politely, he's laughing harder than the audience. He's genuinely enjoying the repartee. He's acting as the perfect straight man, setting up Dangerfield's jokes so they land with maximum impact. Bob Hope was a legend by the time Carson began The Tonight Show, over 100 appearances. But the Hope-Carson relationship was complicated. Carson respected Hope's legacy, but didn't always love the way Hope worked. Hope appeared to plug his specials with rehearsed routines and promotional footage that Carson felt dragged on too long. Johnny admired Hope's place in show business, but he was not a great admirer of his work, a producer said. Don Rickles, the insult comedy king, was sharp and unpredictable, and Carson loved it. The Tonight Show's featured guest series devotes an entire volume to Rickles, highlighting him as a favorite. One famous incident demonstrates their relationship. The cigarette box incident. Rickles accidentally broke Carson's wooden cigarette box during a guest spot. The next evening, Carson stormed into Rickles' studio to confront him. He joked and recreated a mock slap. They played up the drama into theater. What does that tell us? Carson trusted Rickles enough to let that kind of moment happen. He created space for comedic tension. That's deep respect. Robin Williams arrived in 1981 like a whirlwind high energy, stream of consciousness, completely unpredictable. Carson trusted him enough to let him wander off book. Fewer formal questions, more impressions, more riffing. Robin never squandered that freedom. The most revealing moment came on May 21st, 1992, Carson's penultimate show. He selected only two guests, Robin Williams and Bette Midler. Not just any guests, these two. That decision tells you everything about what Carson valued. He didn't want someone safe. He wanted artists who worked at comedy in a way he deeply respected. Tony Randall appeared approximately 105 times, one of the most frequent guests ever. Randall himself revealed something remarkable. I was on the Johnny Carson show over 100 times, and aside from those times on the air, I never spoke to him, I never met him. Over 100 appearances, years of working together, but almost no off-camera relationship. Yet Carson kept inviting him back because Randall brought something special. Intelligence, articulate conversation, and the ability to blend high culture with humor. He discussed opera. He talked about his quirky interests. He wasn't just selling his latest project. Joan Embry was a conservationist who brought live animals onto The Tonight Show, almost 100 appearances. A pygmy marmoset leapt onto Carson's head and urinated on him live. A cheetah behaved unexpectedly. Carson could have refused. Live animals are dangerous, but he embraced the chaos, the spontaneity, the real awe that Embry's presence brought to his meticulously controlled show. Frank Sinatra was not merely a guest. He was an occasion. When Sinatra appeared, audiences leaned forward. On November 12, 1976, Sinatra sang and had real conversations about his life and career. Carson handled Sinatra differently than other guests. He didn't hurry him. He didn't try to upstage him. He asked thoughtful questions that allowed Sinatra to think, to expose, to reminisce. And finally, Bette Midler. The way Carson selected her for his penultimate show speaks volumes. On that final night, they performed a semi-impromptu duet of Here's That Rainy Day. Then she performed a haunting version of One for My Baby and One More for the Road. From center stage, softly with genuine emotion, Carson observed her, physically moved. The moment created unvarnished connection that resonated deeply with viewers. She won an Emmy for that performance. It wasn't just emotional, it was artistically powerful. Their chemistry proved why Carson was a fan. She knew when to be funny, when to sing, when to stop. So what do these 10 guests tell us about Johnny Carson? He valued spontaneity. He loved genuine artistry. He appreciated performers who took risks, who refused to be predictable, who brought something real and human to his stage. He could be petty and vindictive when he felt slighted. But when he encountered true talent, when he saw someone working at their craft with authenticity and passion, he responded with deep respect. He gave them freedom. He trusted them. He invited them back again and again. Johnny Carson understood that the greatest moments in entertainment come when you create space for genuine human connection. When you let the walls down, when you allow for spontaneity and surprise, and that's why these 10 guests remained his favorites, because they reminded him why he fell in love with entertainment in the first place.